the former Tennessee quarterback, and I'm talking about Tennessee Volunteers College. He just got signed by UCLA, right? And the reason why he's no longer with Tennessee is because it is a microcosm of what is going on with NIL, the lack of structure in college football, the lack of guidance, the lack of oversight. And these are all things that I have no problem with. I've been consistent. I have been advocating for chaos because it has to be chaotic. Because if it is not chaotic and this doesn't get ugly and we don't have situations like this, there is never going to be incentive for the powers that be to do what they actually should do, which is get with the student body, find them representation, create a collective bargaining agreement, and do what you're supposed to do. You should have done fucking decades ago. Make these kids employees. That's what they are. They've been hired guns since the fucking 20s in some type of fashion. Whether it was some shit that was in a fucking napkin, whether it was something in the envelope, whether it was some keys to a car and you don't know how they got it, they've always been bought. Now it's just out there, right? But what I will never do, even though I advocate the chaos, even though I advocate for all the nonsense, I ain't never giving up my money, though. That's what we not finna do. We're not doing that. And I wanted to go into this. Hold on, right here. Let me get this right here. NIL changed the game. Not sure if it's for the best. NIL change. Well, yes and no, right? Because this, I'll say this. This is where a lot of people get mixed up. I know a lot of people who are old school college fans, traditional college fans. You got to understand, bro. All that shit is done with. It's over. It's been over with. That ESPN just signed a $5 billion contract for the college football playoff. Like, there's billions that are being made by college football. The minute you put this on TV, the minute you sold it as a product, it is a product. Like, we love sports. We love having conversations about sports. We love talking about competition. All of this shit is TV shows. That's all it is. They are TV shows that we are passionate about watching. The only difference between tennis, NFL, and any other sport is a lot of people like watching the NFL. A lot of people like watching college football. But it serves the same function. Sell ads, sell products, promote shit. And because so much people watch these sports, they're making so much money from contracts, TV networks, all kinds of shit. And NIL had to happen because these kids had to get paid. I'm with all of that. I'm with the shits. Just don't do no stupid shit like this young man did. Nico had the bright idea. He said, you know what I'm finna do? I'm finna go in them white people office and say, give me $4 million or else. The problem is you need a or else. He didn't have one. You can't do that.
No leverage whatsoever, bro. None.
That is not what you're supposed to do with this NIL shit. You don't do that. Like, from my understanding, it was, I don't know who told this young man to go in them people's office and say, I'm finna, who put it, because let's start from the top. Basically what happened is he tried to have what is known and normalized in the NFL, which is a holdout. Cool. This ain't the NFL, dude. You hold out for a contract. This ain't the NFL, bruh. Y'all are not professionals. I get it. You're getting paid. But there's still rules to the game that you have to play. I don't know who his agent is. From what I understand, his agent had something to do with it. His pappy had something to do with it. And I got a whole bunch of smoke for his daddy, bro. Like, hold on. Let me see right here. I agree with them getting paid, but being able to swap teams when you want is low-key case. No, it's not. No, it's not, Dro. And I'm going to answer this right here. If you consider these people student athletes, remember, student becomes before athlete by the NCAA. They don't say athlete student. They say student athlete. There is not a single student who transfers to another school who has to wait out a year. Not a single one. So by that notion, student athletes have the same right. It was illegal to begin with. This is why the Supreme Court ruled that it was illegal, and that's why they don't have to wait and they can transfer all the time. Like, you got to think about it. And even with the transfer portals, why they are set where they are. Like, remember, student athletes, you got kids transferring in the college football playoff. Why? Because the college football playoff has never been this late. School starts in January. These niggas ain't finished the fucking college football playoff to the middle of January, dog. Spring semester's already going on. The national championship used to be done on New Year's. That shit wasn't done till damn near February. The Super Bowl and the national championship almost crossed over. Everything that is going on is because people want to make money. People want to make more money. So all of this shit is fair in love and war, dog. Like, if y'all want to be doing all... We got kids during the season. Miami had to go take a late flight to fucking California. When has Miami ever played California during the regular season?
Yep.
They put Cal in the ACC. They put California in the Atlantic Coast Conference, bruh. Like, what are we talking about, bruh?
You know, Herbie, the crazy thing about this situation, Herbie, is that it brings everything that's going on, everything that's been happening, and everything that's going to happen to a head. And what I mean by that is that I have 2 points. Number one, Herbie, college football opening, with the NILs and starting to pay college players, they open Pandora's box. However, at the end of the day, Nico and his camp they're Frankenstein. Like, NCAA is Frankenstein because, one, they don't have any real rules for this shit. Like, yes, they started paying the players, but who's governing this? Like, who is it? Like, what are the rules? Like, what? Like, there are no regulations, nothing. It's just, this is just the wild, wild west with this, right? But at the same token, they've made billions of dollars off the backs of these players. So for me personally, I'll never be mad at the players getting their money. But that brings me to my second point, Herbie. And this should be a word of advice to anybody who's keeping up with the situation. Take heed, never lead with greed. Because at the end of the day, the man was already set to make $2.2 million, Herbie. He had $2.2 million in the bank. This is supposed to be a non-story. And he took it upon himself, his camp, his dad, his agent, greed, being greedy. And you know what that got you? It gets you $4 billion. You're going to walk into the office. First of all, Nico is not like he's not like how Trevor Lawrence was at Clemson or how Deshaun Watson was. Like, he's not a superstar college player. He's just a good college quarterback, Herbie. There's nothing more, nothing less. And you could argue if he's even good because Tennessee actually has a good team. Tennessee has a defense. Tennessee is just not some team that relies solely on their quarterback. I don't even think this man had a touchdown against some of the best teams in the nation. He didn't have a touchdown against Ohio State.
He had 19 touchdown passes. 11 of them came against subpar competition. When I say subpar, I mean like the WAC, the MAC. When he had to play the Ohio States, he damn near shitted himself. Like, the audacity, dog. Like, that's what blows me, right? Like, do you know, like, you gotta listen, like, listen to what Rod Wave said, bro. Get the bag, Jet. Show your ass for all the times you ain't have it. 50s, 100s, 20s, go dummy. Rod Wave said go dummy. He didn't say be a dummy. He never said be a dummy. That's not in the lyrics. That's not
go stupid. Lyrics. Don't be stupid. You know what I'm saying?
like
come on.
I don't want to be hard on a young man because he's only 20 years old. It's the opportune time he's going to grow from this. But he got to be made an example out of because there's a bunch of other student athletes, young men that come from similar backgrounds as him that need to say, oh, shit, I can't do what Nico did. He tripping. I'm going to learn how to move. I'm going to learn how to go in that office and say, hey, y'all need to give me this because I got X, Y, and Z lined up. You can't up the blicky metaphorically on the white man and you have a water gun loaded, bro. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like,
crazy.
Who told him this? Why? What made them think this would go the way they thought it would do? Like, did they watch Paid in Full? Did they watch Scarface? Did they think they were Tony Montana? They were like, we got to get ours, Nico. Like, what is Carlito's way? What inspired this nonsense, bro? Like,
Herbie, what happened was he didn't have anyone to give him proper advice on this. He didn't have. See, this is the problem when you don't have the right people in your corner, right? At the end of the day, they should have sat down and thought, if you're going to make any kind of business deal, Herbie, you have to weigh what you have in equity and what you have in leverage. Equity wise, you barely had any, and leverage wise, you had none. So what you did really was nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Like you didn't do anything. You didn't have anything to bargain with. Like Tennessee wasn't looking at losing Nico as like some painful thing because he took them to the college football. No, my fault. I apologize, y'all. He didn't take anybody anywhere. He rode on the bus with Tennessee to the college football playoffs because the team together took him. He's not a guy who took him. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the problem, Herbie. You weren't. First of all, him getting $2.2 million was a stretch. And then you had the audacity to ask for $4 million.
Why do you think he got? So when he signed with Tennessee, right? He was a part of that wave where they were just giving the young dudes fresh out of high school crazy bags. Like we just seen it. It's a quarterback at Michigan. His name is Bryce Underwood. Dave Portnoy, Tom Brady, and a bunch of huge multi-millionaire, like billionaire. Your owners, Stephen Ross, was a part of this collective to make Bryce Underwood not go to LSU and go to Michigan. He didn't even want to go to Michigan. He's from Michigan, but he wanted to go to LSU. They gave him $15 million to stay at Michigan, right? Nico got $10 million. That was supposed to be the contract. It was supposed to be a $10 million contract, 2.5 a year for 4 years. That's because of the unknown. This was because of your potential. They saw who you were. They saw like, oh, you might not be all that. So, all right, but you here though. You here. You tripping. Let's pull up the film. You want $4 million for this? You want $4 million for that? You want $4 million for that? Oh, that's when you almost threw a pick. Yeah, you want $4? No, bro. Like there, and I'm gonna get to this comment because Pedro says I think the Texas Tech $4 million made up. But it's a lot of pocket watching going on. Carson Beck just got $10 million from Miami. Like, but you can't compare yourself to Carson Beck. Carson Beck was at one point going to be the number one pick in the draft. Yes, he fell off, but again, he has much better tape than you.
100%. Like 100%. And Herbie, here's the thing, Herbie, the audacity of him to hold out. Like, bro, you're not a pro. Take your ass to practice, man. Like, Herbie, that's the problem with that. That's going to be one of the issues with them opening the door for this, because they open the door to pay these players, which they rightfully deserve, because they've made tons and tons and tons and tons of money off their backs. But without any way to regulate that shit, Herbie, this is what you get, and they deserve it, Herbie. Like the NCAA, this is a huge mess. This is just the beginning. If the NCAA does not figure out how to regulate this properly, we're going to see more and more crazy stories like this. This is just the beginning. And, listen, I understand that there's probably a strong portion of the college football fan base, the old heads, they hate the NIL and all this. And things like this kind of give them credence. I think the players should rightfully get paid because they are employees, Herbie. At the end of the day, people can say that, they're college students. No, they make billions of dollars, Herbie. What do you call that? What do you call that? If you don't call them employees, what else are you going to call them? So at the end of the day, yeah, they should probably get a little compensation, but they're still students. They're not officially pros. So there has to be some way, like they have to figure out how to just regulate this properly.
And this is why I said it has to be chaos. All of this has to happen because what's really holding up everything, right? From this getting completely organized, and there's going to be collective bargaining, which is why you see a lot of teams in college, they have $20 million salary caps. They have people that are called general managers now. Like, it's getting really, really professional. North Carolina, where Bill Belichick he has a whole scouting department. You know what I'm saying? He has a general manager. He has a GM. He has a development team. Like it's going to be, and it's always been the minor leagues for the NFL. It's always been a free minor league for the NFL, a free feeder system for the NFL. Now it's really going to be that. But the one thing that's holding everything up is college, that infrastructure doesn't want to do the one thing that it has to do, which is make them employees. Because if you make them employees, you know what comes with employees? Benefits, pensions, all of that stuff. That's really what the holdup is. They would rather, the powers that be, let all of this chaos play out because they don't actually want to go down that road. They do not want to have insurance. Like the league, NFL is 2,500 players. College is 100,000.
So like 134 schools competing?
It would be nuts. They know that. They could deal with this all because at the end of the day, nothing really matters. None of this shit matters. It's just PR. Once the season cranks up, nobody's gonna give a fuck. You know what we're gonna do? Watch college football. This was the most watched season we've had in 10 years. With all of the NIL, with all these people saying I'm not gonna watch, none of the numbers said that. None of the numbers said that. What's gonna happen is we're gonna see more people watching college football and more people watching college football. So they don't really have any incentive to do that, which is make these kids employees, because all that's really negative is people on ESPN yelling at each other about it. But in reality, them checks is fucking going crazy. So you could be on your lawn, you could grandstand, you could say I'll never watch college football again. They don't give a shit. The numbers say that. The numbers determine that was a lie.
Numbers don't lie, as they say.
I'm gonna finish with the Nico point because I kind of went off script, but I want to say this. It's not necessarily about Nico. It's about the representation. And as a father, I have a child. A lot of people in our chat have a child. You have one job. Never lead your children astray. Try your best to give your children the best advice. Will the advice always be right? No, because you don't know what's best for your child. But you should know what's best for your child in a situation like this. This was a terrible display of parenting if his father had anything to do with this.
Which is what's being reported. They're saying he was leaving the basically.
This is terrible parenting. Because not only did you lose your child money, you made your child an embarrassment. This will never leave your son unless your son is awesome. If your son is mediocre as a college football player for the rest of his career, he will never get rid of this. This will always be associated with him. They're going to say, ain't you the dude that fumbled for $2 million for being stupid? That will follow him for the rest of his life if he's not awesome. Like, and to Nico, if your agent is a dummy, if your financial advisor is a dummy, if your daddy is a dummy, and all you have around you is dummies, what does that say about you? You a dummy. And that's cool. It happens. But you a dummy.
You know what? The one thing I'll give him this much grace, Herbie. He's the young man. He don't really know better, bro. He's a jit.
I feel you. I understand.
He a grown man.
This is why I gotta be hard, because I hear all of that, but this is why I gotta be hard on Nico. Every great prospect, every great NFL prospect, what do all great quarterbacks have in common? Good decision making. It's a trait. Like, it's a trait. The great quarterbacks, aside from Brett Favre, are good decision makers. Brett Favre is the one blind spot. It's the one exception to the rule. It's not like it goes hand in hand. Good decision making is a part of being a great quarterback. Good quarterbacks don't make bad decisions. Even if they have people around them pressuring to do things, they still have the clarity to see through and say what is actually the best decision. This is just an example of why he was mediocre as a quarterback. Maybe he's not a good decision maker.
Could be indicative, man. Real shit.
It is what it is, man. Again, I'm being overly hard because he has to be the example. Because if Nico has to be the sacrificial lamb for a bunch of young other black men and men of color to not fumble the bag, then so be it. It is what it is.